Heard on Thursdays with Nikki is about to go live online. Catch HOT, the iconic radio show that made Philippine FM radio talk, every Thursday on the Monster. Streaming video on the Monster Facebook page at RX931, the Monster YouTube channel at RX931, and twitch.tv/Monster RX931. You heard on Thursday's host, Nikki Porter. Stand by and enjoy the program.
Hey, what's up, monsters? And welcome to the show that made Philippine FM radio talk, heard on Thursdays right here on Monster RX93.1. I am your host, Nikki Porter. So tonight's guest, very exciting, is a champion through and through. We're talking Jiu-Jitsu athlete MEGGIE Ochoa, a two-time world champion and a two-time Southeast Asian Games titleist. MEGGIE recently bagged one of the country's 4 gold medals in the 19th Asian Games in China. So it's such a pleasure to have her here on the show to talk about her experience during the event. So she's also the founder, by the way, of Fight to Protect, a jiu-jitsu program under Athos Jiu-Jitsu Philippines that seeks to build up survivors of child sexual violence into champions through the sport. Fight to Protect has raised hundreds of thousands for the battle against child sexual violence, including online sexual exploitation and sex trafficking. So MEGGIE is no stranger to HOT, and tonight we are happy to catch up with her and talk about her Huangzhou experience and everything that's been going on since then. So heard on Thursdays, let's welcome back to the show Jiu-Jitsu champ MEGGIE Ochoa. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, MEGGIE. Oh my gosh, so nice to have you back on the show. And also, what perfect way to welcome you back, with everything that's happened as of late. So first of all, thank you for coming back here on Heard on Thursdays. Secondly, nakapagpahinga ka na ba?
Yeah, barely.
Barely. Oh my gosh. Have you been invited to get interviews left and right ever since you got back?
Pretty much every single day.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Nako. So but that on the side though, it's so you got back last week pa. How have the days been since you got back from the event, and also have you had time to spend with family at least on the side, even just a little bit?
Yeah, well, excuse me, sorry. Yes, I've had the chance to spend time with family. I got home last Sunday, and then I reserved Monday for sleep, and
Good.
I had 1 day of sleep and 1 day of sleep. And then, I had dinner with family because my brother lives in Bacolod, and then he went home to surprise my parents nung Monday kasi he also had a friend with a wedding. And so we were complete after a very long time nung last Monday. So we had that, and then I also was able to spend time with some of my siblings last Saturday. Kasi grabe, we haven't had time to spend with each other in quite a while actually, since I'm always gone. I'm always the only family member that's not present. So ayun, but yeah, it's been quite crazy since I got back. And yeah, everyday events or interviews. But it's also good because I'm having an opportunity to help promote the sport.
Right, of course. And so with you and your family, especially with your siblings, do you usually have something that's a ritual to do when you guys start together, or kahit ano na lang mangyayari? You guys plan to go out and eat, or it's meron kayong game night? Ano ba? How do you guys usually reunite?
Actually, chill lang naman. We usually just go out to eat, have a beer or something like that. But usually chill lang. Last time we just went out to eat. Chill lang naman, just catching up, just basically spending time with each other.
Okay. Well, at least it's nice to spend some time back, especially with family, and after the grueling experiences that you had during the Asian Games too. So I'm gonna go at this from someone with a POV who's not familiar with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Of course, we've talked about it last year, but still, it's different naman if you don't follow it, no. So for me, like at the start of your match, okay, we'll wind it back to the 19th Asian Games, and it's your gold medal match, right? And so you and Abdullah, you guys are on the mat. Started the match, you guys immediately like went down, like bigla.
Yeah.
And so, is there a reason for that? Like, is there an advantage to it? How it starts off that way?
What you call that is double pull. So both of us
Mm.
pulled to guard. Why? Because we both like playing on the bottom.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but
So
in
unahan.
yes, paunahan nating makalaro ng bottom kasi we're both guard players. But in reality, I couldn't play bottom anymore during my finals match because I actually had an injury na I got from my semifinals match. So
Mm-mm.
I just did that because I just didn't want to give her what she wanted at the start of the match. Because if you make her pull guard and then you accept her guard, she'll immediately go for her attacks. So by me
Mm.
pulling with her, at least I can like um get to a more advantageous position before coming on top. But I was really decided on playing top kasi nga because of my injury, I couldn't play guard, which is my
Mm.
strong game. So I had to
Wow.
like settle for a compromise actually.
My gosh. So and for you to do that, no, that must have pulled a strain on your body because you had a fever, you had an injury, you had cough, cold, like you had so many symptoms, and then to have to do something. Well, first thing to have to give up like your guard advantage, and you have to fight in such a way that does not give Abdullah the advantage. Like
Mm-hmm.
how did that feel in your body, no, the first time like when you started to have to try to you know f- combat, like go against like Abdullah's like attempted bottom attack.
Yeah. No, because the crazy thing was, see Abdullah, she actually became one of my training partners in our camp. Because
Okay, okay.
I actually I went to San Diego with a few teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi that's where the headquarters of our club is. And then it turned out that the UAE national team was gonna go to the same venue for training. So since Abdullah and I were the same weight, parang we trained a lot together. So
Mm.
both of us actually know each other's games. And then I also kind of knew where I was gonna be at an advantage and where she was gonna be at an advantage. And then entering into this match, I knew that it was gonna be difficult for me because I couldn't like play the game well because of my injury. So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like all I did was pray. All I did was pray and depend on the Lord because I was like, Lord, I'm gonna take a risk, but I'm
Mm.
gonna trust you. And I'm just gonna give my best all throughout. And basically, that's where my mind was at the entire time.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's very interesting, no, na parang you have to like your strongest suit you could not do it. But
Yeah.
also that to me, how I understand it, like that's something that Abdullah is not familiar with
Mm-hmm.
because you guys know each other's like you mentioned, like you guys study each other's moves, you study each other's like
Mm-hmm.
strategies, you guys are familiar with it. But for you to come to a different, way about like the fight,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that also gave you an advantage to the match?
Actually, what I did was, I still came up on top the way that I usually do in training.
Mm,
So she was kind of familiar with it. And then she did react the same way that I expected her to react. So parang alam mo yun, we really knew what each other,
mm-mm,
what we each would do during that moment. So honestly, parang I was just like trying my kasi the moment na I got on top, she was already able to defend my attempt, like my pass attempt, like my
mm-mm,
attempt to attack and control her from the top.
mm-mm,
Na-defend niya kaagad and I knew she would be able to because that's exactly what happens in training. Kaya nga I don't like coming on top kasi she's so good
mm-mm,
on the bottom. But then I still
mm-mm,
took that risk because I kind of had no choice. I couldn't play from the bottom. So, I do come on top pa rin in training kasi in training, I take the risks that I need to take. And the exact same thing happened, but at least I knew what to expect. I knew how she would react. I knew the grips that she would do. And then
mm-mm.
I knew her like strongest attacks then. So I knew how to defend those attacks. In reality, in the finals match, I was very defensive. Kasi nga,
Mm,
I was playing on top, and then she was playing in the position where she was strongest, which is on the
mm,
bottom. And then she was able to get her grips. Although I was trying to like attempt some attacks on top, what you call the attacks that I attempt, it's called pass attempts. Attempts
mhm,
to pass her guard, or meaning like get past her legs and pin her down, get to a
mm,
controlling position. But I wasn't able to like get her in a controlling position, but I got an advantage for coming on top. So
mm,
from both of us doing the double pull,
mhm,
by me coming on top, I get one advantage. One advantage is like a partial point. The
mm.
advantage only matter if you guys have equal points or if you have no points. So
Ah,
since we both were not able to execute points, I won the match because I got that advantage for
you
coming
just
on just for coming
ah.
on top.
Yun
Yeah.
nga, because I saw like in the marquee it said like winner by advantages,
Yes.
diba? So it's like it was that's why the whole time I was trying to figure out like there was this move that the commentator mentioned about like a lasso that Abdullah did. So
Yes.
how is that? Does that lock your arm or what does that do?
Yeah. She like wraps her leg around my arm to try to
Ah,
control, and then she can like control where my weight goes. Like let's say if she goes like that, since her leg is like wrapped around my
yeah.
arm, then she can like turn me over and then end up on top. If she ends up on top, she gets
Oh.
2 points for that. That's called the sweep. So that's what she's been
Mm,
trying to do the entire time. And she's also been trying to do like submission attempts. So submission is like to make me tap out.
right,
But
right.
then like I was able to defend her submission attempts well naman. Kasi if you do your submission attempt to the point na it's convincing enough, you get an advantage for it. So she could like tie up the match by getting an
Mm,
advantage for a submission attempt. But she wasn't able to do the submission attempt convincing enough because I was able to defend it before it would reach the point where it's already convincing.
wow.
Super
Gosh, so it's
technical match actually. Super technical match.
yeah, yeah, because it's like I feel like if you weren't familiar with the sport, it's just like you're trying to like, okay, what's happening? Like you don't know. And for
Yeah.
me, when I was watching the match, I was like, I was trying to figure out what was happening, and like, or okay, so is this if someone gonna get is someone gonna submit? Is someone gonna tap out? Like I was trying to
Yeah.
figure that out, but
Yeah.
but while you guys were going at it, no, there were moments when Coach Alan Ko actually he asked for a peer review. You guys had to stop. So
Yeah.
what was it exactly during that grapple that needed a second look?
What he was trying to contest was the reset. Kasi like when
Mm,
we're about to go out of bounds, or like when something happens,
yeah.
let's say I think they were making her fix her hijab. Kasi
Mhm.
'di ba since she's Muslim, some of the Muslim women they wear a hijab
Yeah. Yeah.
during the competition. So when it gets out, the referee will stop the match and then make you like fix it. In the same way
Yeah.
as when the belt gets untied,
Right.
the referee will stop the match and make you fix the belt. So I think probably because of our belts or because of our hijab, the referee stopped the match. And then dapat the position that you reset in is the same position where the match stopped. Now,
Mm,
we reset in a position that was advantageous to her. So I was in a position where I was in more of an attacking position. But then the
okay.
referee did not accept it. So actually, I still got reset in a position that was advantageous for the person on the bottom, which is Abdullah.
Mhm.
And actually, I ended up in a more defensive rather than an offensive position. Kaya she was like attacking the whole time kasi pati yung reset, it was in favor of her. So,
Ah,
ayun.
I see. Okay. And then like it's a good thing you mentioned like the hijab like adjustment and then also the gi adjustment, diba? Kasi parang natatanggal na yung gi,
Yeah.
nawala na yung belt. So
Yeah.
like whenever that happens like in a match, like does it ruin the momentum though? Yes, you can reset back to
Yeah.
the same position, but then
Yeah.
it does it ruin the momentum for you?
It kind of does. I was already like, actually, honestly, I wasn't thinking about that during the match. Pero my
Mm-mm.
real coach, my coach here in the Philippines,
Mm-mm.
si Carlo, he was the one that pointed out na parang sayang yung reset. Kasi parang if they didn't reset the match, parang I was already like attacking. I was actually
Yeah,
in a very
yeah.
good position already. But
Yeah.
then since they reset it, pagka-reset, biglang siya na yung attacker. So
Ah,
parang
mm-mm.
sobrang it killed my momentum actually, and it gave the match at a better advantage for my opponent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, parang, like even if she had the advantage, nanalo ka pa rin. So
Yeah.
it was like, but you still push though, which is
Yeah.
still pretty amazing. Again, because um, it post match you had an interview, and in part this was the moment that part you were so overwhelmed with emotion,
Super.
and so for you. And for the monsters, actually, I feel like a lot of us saw the video, but for the monsters who haven't seen it, like, could you run us through what was happening to you, like to the team and the days leading up to the match? Like, how come it got to that tipping point of you just bigla na lang, like you were so overcome with emotion?
Actually, it wasn't just the days leading to the competition. It's the whole year.
Okay, all
It's
right.
been like a huge, huge year of struggle for me. Like this entire year. The start of the year, I went through something tough in my personal life. So I
Mm,
was really down, and then I wasn't actually supposed to try out for the SEA Games because my weight class wasn't there. But I
mm-mm,
tried out anyway, and I fought at a heavier weight class. And then at
mm-mm.
the SEA Games, I got injured. So my knee got injured, and it's like one of the
Yeah.
worst injuries I've had actually in jiu-jitsu. So I couldn't train for a few months before the Asian Games. It was only 2 months before Asian Games when I really got to train hard. So
Mm-mm.
sobrang bitin yun actually for a training camp for competition. Although it was an excellent camp kasi naka-training ko pa yung UAE, which is
Yeah,
sila rin yung
right.
strongest competitors namin. So yun, I was really feeling very prepared after the camp and even before leaving the Philippines. But then when we got to China, the morning ng first morning namin sa China when I woke up, ayun, I was like not feeling well. As in like I was coughing, my eye was swollen, and then
Mm-mm.
I felt warm, and then my body, alam mo yung feeling pagka magkakatrangkaso ka, parang your joints is
Yes.
painful. And
Oo.
I felt that it's like I had like very low energy. But I was like, okay, this is not good. I'm not feeling
Yeah.
well. The competition is in 2 days. And
Mm-mm.
then, but then I was trying to like fight it with my mind during that day. I think that was October 3. I said, like, I still worked out. I went to my commitments for that day because I had commitments that day. And then like mini-mental ko lang siya pero sa totoo lang, I kept feeling worse and worse. Like
Mm.
palala ng palala yung feeling ko going towards the night. Pero I was just fighting it with my mind. As in I couldn't eat. Like honestly, like that day, parang like going towards the evening, parang I was already like force feeding myself because I knew I had to eat. Diba? I was gonna fight in 2 days. Pero I felt like nasusuka ako. But then as in, I was praying while chewing and while
Oh,
swallowing.
wow.
Like, Lord, please help me. I was like, Lord,
Oo.
this is for God's glory. It's for the sake of His name, for the sake of His glory. I was like repeating that and saying, Lord, I
Mm.
need you. I need you. Please help me. As in, literally, while chewing and while walking, because even walking was so difficult for me. Like,
My
the
goodness.
2 days before the competition, and the day before the competition, it got worse pa. As in, like, it, like, even just getting out of bed and walking was, like, a huge struggle. And I literally had to pray my way to, like, get past those 2 days. And
Mm.
then, the day of the competition pa, 6:55 a.m., my teammate called me. My match kasi was supposed to be in the afternoon. So I was planning to sleep in a bit
Mm.
and then, like, do my usual competition routines because I had time. Kasi nga
Mm.
hapon pa yung laban ko. But 6:55 a.m., she woke me up with a call and she said, oh, the matches got moved. So we have to leave in 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh. So from the afternoon, what time was the match?
I think it became like 11-ish, parang ganun. But then we had to leave daw at 7:30 a.m. kasi
Oh
parang
my.
we had to be sure na I was there kasi the matches can go faster. So you have
Yeah,
to be there early kasi kung 'di ba if a match ends in a submission, then pwedeng ma-move earlier pa yung match mo.
right.
So anyway, I wasn't able to do my usual routines. My sleep was much shorter kasi I barely slept because I had a bad headache and I was
Mm.
coughing most of the night. So I barely had sleep and I wasn't able to like eat properly then that morning. Because syempre na rush, 'di ba? I had like 30 minutes to prepare. Usually I have all these routines, like I have to like study the Bible, pray, eat
Mm-mm.
properly. Alam mo yun, take your time in showering kasi you wanna
Mm-mm.
be like uh, relaxed but
Yeah,
calm at the same time. So you have to get that like certain amount of like focus before
of
competing. And I
course.
wasn't able to have that opportunity. And so, wala, I just like, I was like, okay, Lord, I know you're allowing this to happen, but I know na hindi mo rin ako hahayaan. So again, I was just
Mm-mm.
praying the whole time. And then I had a bad headache getting into the competition. But, we had a doctor with us naman, so he gave me meds. Nag-double dose ako ng meds. I was on paracetamol and painkillers that
Mm-mm.
morning. Then gumana naman siya. And then somehow, like, yung first two matches actually, I was like not really getting tired. So I'm like, wow, God, you're working. Kasi like I knew it was not me, it was really him. Kasi parang my usual first match, I'm usually like super tired. Kasi alam mo yung first match, parang that's all, I'm kind of like a diesel engine eh. Parang it takes time for, I do like a long warm up, but then iba pa rin yung entering into the match. Parang my arms are like super lactic acid, maninigas yan. Pero nung first match ko, hindi siya nanigas. So I was really surprised. So I knew the Lord was at work. And then, so first two matches I won, na ano naman, smooth naman yung win. I won via points and submission.
Mm-mm.
Um, that's like the most ideal way of winning. And then yung
Right.
third match ko, semifinals match, it was gonna be against this girl who recently beat me in my tune-up competition sa Asian Games. Kasi
Oh
diba,
no.
3
Okay.
games, I got injured. So
Yeah.
I missed the World Championships. I missed Asian Open, which were supposed to be my tune-up competition. So I joined another tune-up competition called the World Masters um, in the US noong September. And I performed so bad. And it was this girl that I was gonna face in the semifinals match that beat me
Wow.
in the World Masters. So syempre mentally, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And then alam mo pang dehado ka in terms of your health. And so somehow nanalo naman ako dun sa match kasi nagkamali din siya thankfully.
Mm.
Nagkamali siya. She gave me 2 points basically kasi basta
Oh.
nagkamali siya. And then I preserved that 2 points all throughout. But the last few seconds of the match, I got injured. As in, I pulled like several muscles or maybe like a muscle or something on my left leg, which is also the leg that was injured for SEA Games. So I feel like
Gosh.
there's like some sort of compensation that happened. So, pero I'm
Mm-mm.
like, oh shoot, medyo masakit. Parang nag-radiate yung pain down the leg eh. And I'm like, oh shoot, semifinals pa lang to. Medyo
Oo.
masakit. So I was like keeping my composure the whole time, trying to like walk normally. As in like, pero I was like, I went agad to the medic and I said, medyo kailangan natin tong i-tape.
Mm.
So, nagtago kami. As in, we went to the medical room, as in like closed with the curtain and all that. And then they taped up my leg. And I drank like more painkillers so I can
Mm.
fight sa finals match. But even with the painkillers, I really felt the pain. But
Oh,
again,
good.
again, I was just praying the whole time and I trusted and knew kasi na, okay, the Lord allowed this to happen. And He already got me to this point. So I know He's not gonna leave me behind. So
Mm-mm.
parang totally trusting and depending on Him talaga. Kasi I knew nga na, yun nga, I would face Abdullah and I couldn't play my strongest game because of this
Yeah.
injury. So, kaya sobrang grabe yung iyak ko after. Kasi like, grabe, I was praying the whole time kasi and parang yung iyak na yun, it's because like I was just so grateful to the Lord kasi grabe, He got me through that entire ordeal. Alam mo yun?
Yeah.
As in,
Oh
not
my
just that
gosh.
one day, but the entire year na sobrang daming pinagdaanan. Tapos parang, yan yung naging pinnacle moment. And then, boom! Alam mo yun, bigla nang I'm not a crier kasi I barely cry. And kahit nung may dinaanan akong mahirap sa start ng year, even nung na-injure ako nung SEA Games, hindi ako umiyak. So parang I think ito yung labas ng lahat ng luha na kinikip in ko the whole
Yeah.
year.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and it was such a honestly, it was such a raw and like impactful moment. It was a significant moment for I think a lot of us, especially when we found out about like, the journey. At the very least, you were sharing kasi what was happening in the past few days. But then
Yeah.
you sharing like what's been happening for you so far this whole year, it kind of
Yeah.
like parang culminating activity mo
Yeah.
pag-iyak mo.
Parang ganon.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it's just so like I feel like a lot of people are very much in awe of like what's happened to you and like the outcome also of that match. And I noticed also it's like you have this habit now when you come into like the mats, like when they introduce you, and but you're always like so like jumpy and like you're all
Yes,
diba? And then so
before.
before and then like during this finals match, it was like when you came out like onto the mat, it was you were so chill. So
Yeah.
it's like for anyone, I think for anyone who's familiar with like how you usually like psych yourself into like a
Mhm.
match, are you, I feel like they would feel that, but okay, there's something wrong here.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't. I had no energy kasi may
Mm-mm.
sakit ako. And also
Oo.
masakit din yung injury ko. So ayoko talaga.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least like you know what, you came through with it, and it was just really, again, like it was so amazing how you were able to pull through with that one advantage. Like it was that made all the difference for
Yeah.
sure. So like the hip injury you mentioned, no? Okay, so you were injured like during the SEA Games. Are you still recovering from that now? Like you're doing like PT for that again?
Definitely, yes. Not for the same injury ng SEA Games, but for the
Mm.
injury ng Asian Games.
Okay, okay.
Now I'm still not able to like train like hard. I've been
Mhm.
moving, like I've been trying to drill a little bit, but then
Mm-mm.
like very limited. So I'm focusing on like recovery and rehab of my actually my entire left leg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it really like yung hip injury? Like how did they say how long it would take until you're back like 100%?
Actually, no, it's not naman major. It's more on like just muscle strains. Like there
Mm,
are a few
okay.
muscles that are strained, and I just have to be careful with it, and I have to like kind of like make the muscles relax and then put it to the point that I can strengthen it and then strengthen it and then yeah yun. That's basically
Mhm.
what I need to do lang. So sabi kaya naman daw kasi I'm actually leaving in 2 weeks for another competition. Kaya sabi nila kaya
Wow.
naman daw.
Oh my gosh, Maggie, you have like a fully booked year. Oh my
You
goodness. And it
know.
and it keeps going and it keeps going.
Yeah.
My goodness. So, okay, as someone who's like me, who's new to like watching jujitsu now, at first it seems like when you're watching a match, it's two people holding on to each other. At least from my
Mhm.
perspective, now, two people holding on to each other. But then I wondered, but you mentioned like the whole that lasso move that Abdullah had, and then her trying to flip you over so she would have an advantage. So
Mhm.
so I'm wondering now. It's like yes, it at simplistically you're holding on to each other, but the whole time are you actually, it seems like you're flexing muscle, like you really are just like that hold is actually you just like really flexing the muscle and really just like endurance talaga who's like stronger. Is that how it actually is, as someone who doesn't know how to do jiu-jitsu?
Well, definitely, there is some strength involved, but it's actually more of a lot of technique. Because there's so much going on, diba? But in
Mm-mm.
reality, it's like it's actually her technique against my technique. So she's like trying to execute attacks, like the things that she's trying to do. Like example is she was trying to like isolate my arm. Called
Mm-mm.
one of the techniques is called omoplata. She was trying to do an omoplata on my arm. It's like a shoulder lock.
Mm-mm.
So when she was trying to do an omoplata, I like kind of jumped over her head to prevent her from doing omoplata. So that's like an example of like the technique exchanges that we do. She tried to trap my shoulder. I prevented her from trapping my shoulder by jumping over her head. And then when I jumped over her head, she reset her guard. And then like I
Mm.
think she also tried the triangle choke. She was trying to trap also my head and my arm together to like choke me
Yeah.
like this. But then what
Yeah.
I did was I was like trying to like go like this para parang I was trying to like make her slip. Parang ganun.
Mm.
So parang there's a
Gotcha.
lot of like technical exchanges happening like in that match. But it was actually mostly her attacking and me defending. Kasi nga she was in her attacking position. I was
Yeah.
also trying. I was trying to like pass her guard also, but I knew it was gonna be difficult, especially with my injury.
My gosh. So were you like, so I'm sure you were like in pain, no? It's like parang trying to maneuvering yourself, right? On that
Mhm.
mat. Like was it like did Abdullah know that you had an injury also?
she knew about my SEA Games injury, but she didn't think that
Ah, okay.
I didn't she didn't know that I was recently injured, as in like the match before. Kasi nga I kept my
Mm,
composure. I wasn't
mm-mm.
showing anything. I didn't even flinch at the pain. I
My
had to.
gosh. Oh
I
my
had to
god.
keep my composure. So, syempre, like, she didn't know that. Kasi, of course, if she knew that, baka yun yung tinamaan
Advantage,
niya,
yeah.
diba? So,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
he might have, like, attacked that leg. So, buti na lang din.
Grabe, for you to keep your composure when you are in pain. You said you were on painkillers, but you still felt it.
Yeah, I
Like,
did.
that's a different kind of strength, Maggie. I just gotta say. I mean, it's something. That's why I feel like I think it was your sister who posted on Facebook, "You're a legend."
Yeah.
Saka mo alamat, sabi daw niya. My gosh. So actually, in relation to your family though, like how is it? Okay, so you were injured. Did they know about that when you were competing? And this whole thing happened in a day, diba? Like your matches
Yeah.
all happened. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's
All in one
intense.
day. In a few
And so
hours.
for you and like your parents, your family, like how do they still get nervous for you? Do they worry about you, especially as of late, diba? Kasi you had injuries, you were sick. Like what was it like, I guess, for your parents or your family to know na you were having an ordeal before the actual ordeal?
Well, actually, my parents were the ones who were very concerned. Like, they were messaging me. Kasi nga, my mom is also like one of the managers of our team. So, she's
Mm,
updated na, parang nag-update sila na I'm sick, ganyan. So, she was like really worried. She was messaging the other manager na kasama namin sa trip, parang asking
mm-mm.
how I am. But then, I wasn't really messaging anymore kasi nga masakit yung ulo ko. I wasn't like messaging too much on my phone.
Mm-mm.
Ayun, they were worried. Like, also my dad was messaging me. But then, they didn't know naman about the injury kasi it just happened within parang within between the semi-final match and the finals match. And usually
Yeah,
all throughout the duration of the competition, I'm off of my phone kasi I
right.
don't like looking at my phone during a competition because it's a distraction. Except just playing music. So they didn't really know about it. So ayun. But yeah, my parents worried about me because of the health issue during that time.
Yeah, and especially I guess also because of your previous injury then with the SEA Games, parang
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
another major competition, tapos parang, I guess like magdasal na lang na parang God,
Yes.
hopefully everything will be okay with you. And so
Yes.
buti na lang, you were able to pull through once again. And so, um, when it came to okay, so for training for like yung mga SEA Games, Asian Games, how does it differ? Like your training days, how does it differ when preparing for a competition from your everyday routine? What changes there? Like do you train longer or do you train harder?
Well, if it's a major competition, definitely there's a huge change in routine kasi we go abroad to do the training camp. So for
Mm,
both SEA Games and Asian Games, I went to the same place that I go every single year for training camp. I went to San Diego dun sa Atos Jiu-Jitsu headquarters kasi that's our club. So ever
mm,
since I was a white belt, that's the venue that I've been going for training kasi like the best of the best in the world train in that venue, and like we get like a lot of training partners and they have really good competition training, and that's the one that we actually replicate when we go back here to Philippines. So definitely my lifestyle is totally different when I'm in a training camp kasi of course I'm outside of the Philippines, so yung responsibilities that I have here, syempre they're also kind of put on hold. So parang my entire routine for the day is about like being in optimal shape for training. So excuse me, for example, like of course, like I wake up in the morning, I study the Bible, I pray, and then after that, I do like whatever activations I need to do sa house pa lang. And
mm,
then what we do kasi we buy mats. Whenever we go on a training camp, we buy mats para even in our home, our Airbnb, with me and my teammates, we have mats. So
mm,
whenever
mm.
we train, when we come home, we're able to study like what happened in training, and then we can break it down, and then we can do like technique work even while we're in the house. So it's kind of like
Right.
you're training most of the day. So that's pretty much like what happens. Apart from ano pa, strength and conditioning work and yung mga recovery work, like I in this particular camp, I also did yung mga like ice bath through sauna, yung mga routines na yan to recover, and also like parang mga muscle release, mga ganun. So you have to like put in all of those, and it's like really all about preparing for the competition whenever there's like training camp that we go through abroad. So ibang iba.
Ibang iba talaga. And so, okay, training is much different and you are training for longer. What about when it comes to like sustenance, like your meals, no? Like, how does it look like? How strict is it? Especially like, if you're competing, let's say if you're competing in your actual like weight category versus going up a weight category. What's it like? How does it differ naman?
So of course, whenever I'm in training camp, I also try to eat the best possible quality food kasi you want your body to recover and you want to have optimal performance every single day. So whenever I'm in the US, particularly in San Diego, I eat grass-fed beef every day. So I have
Oh,
like steak
wow.
almost every meal.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
the typical diet is just white rice and grass-fed beef. That's it. And like we were lucky because like most of the Airbnb, well, the first Airbnb we stayed in, we had like a nice grill. So like
Mm,
we would grill every single day. We would eat
sarap.
like grass-fed beef every single day. And here in the Philippines, we do have grass-fed beef, but of course, iba yung quality doon, and it's
Mm,
much cheaper there also.
right.
Like there kasi like beef is like very accessible, like more accessible than here, like high quality beef. So ayun, and I felt na that's like the optimal diet. I even like gave up vegetables kasi usually, 'di ba, they say vegetables are good for you and all
Yeah.
that. It is, it's good for you. But then ako kasi I have a very small appetite. I don't eat much. So
Mm,
I have to prioritize the protein. So
mm-mm,
like if I eat vegetables, then I eat less beef. So
mm-mm.
parang when you're in training camp kasi you need more protein kasi to help your
Right.
muscles recover. So yun talaga, as in grass-fed beef and white rice.
Like, if you could measure or if you could estimate like the amount of grams of protein that you would have on the daily for you to during like your training camp, how much would it be kaya?
Honestly, I'm not really sure of how many grams, but siguro I would eat like probably maybe like more than a pound of beef a day. Parang ganon. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So staple ulam talaga, steak,
Yes.
grass-fed beef. So
Grass-fed beef, yeah. Hindi ko siya
nice. And
pinagsawaan.
I mean, do you put spices there? Or is it just like salt and pepper? Or sana naman may seasoning na onte.
Honestly, I just put salt nga eh. Kasi it's
Okay.
just salt.
Pwede
And then
naman.
and we cook it in like grass-fed ghee and grass-fed tallow. Everything is
Wow.
grass-fed. As in like even the oil that we use is grass-fed. As
What's
in
the
like
benefit to it ba kasi? Like if it's grass-fed, that means
it means na they don't eat any like yung mga chemicals or yung mga feeds. So
mm-mm.
like ano talaga, it's pure. And I feel that the body like really absorbs the protein like a lot faster. Honestly,
I
ano
see.
din, when I eat grass-fed beef, I don't gain weight also. Like not, or like if I gain weight, I gain like really good muscle weight as opposed to like when I eat yung normal beef. I feel like it has like a lot more parang things that get converted to like stuff in it that gets converted to not muscle. Parang
Mm.
parang other stuff in your body, like it probably gets converted to fat, although you also need fat. But ayun nga, I just feel that it's like better yung quality ng muscle production ko when I eat grass-fed beef, and recovery also.
Mm-mm. Well, I mean, I feel like I wouldn't complain either if it's grass-fed beef every day for
Yeah.
me. I just have to be active. That's the thing. That's the
Yes.
difference.
Yes. You can't keep eating grass-fed beef and expect to build muscle but not work out.
Yan nga eh, yan nga eh. So baka yung mga, just in case for the monsters who might be listening, it's you need to balance it with working out. Be like
Mhm.
Maggie. Be like Maggie. Oh, you gotta work it out to balance it out. Now, so you went okay. So you mentioned that you have to be training again soon, even if like right now you're doing like low impact training. But you said in a couple weeks. Was it a couple weeks that you had another competition coming up?
So I'm actually leaving for the country in 2 weeks, and I'm competing in 3 weeks.
Oh my god.
So let's see what happens. I'm just honestly like all I'm thinking about is just trying my best, giving my best. Kasi wala na eh, everything is booked.
Mm,
I'm already booked. I'm registered for the competitions, and it's not naman a major injury. I know I can recover. It's just I'm just not like training as much, but I do trust din naman in the training that I had for Asian Games. And
mhm.
I know na magki-carry over naman yun even towards the next competition. Hindi naman yan agad-agad nawawala eh, yung mga games.
Gotcha. And also, with this match in 3 weeks, are there any more matches later in this year? Meron pa ba? Or or like you
Well,
can't share it yet?
well, matches no, but I still have like a lot of events and commitments after that. But the next big one after that would be yung Asian Indoor Martial Arts Games in Feb. So we might have to do
Okay.
like a training camp soon after the competition.
Gotcha. All right.
I hope
So,
I get at least a few weeks rest, kahit 1 week. I
oo
hope.
nga. My gosh. I mean, with so much that has happened in your year, in the year that has passed, like dami pang ganap for
Sobra.
you.
Sobra.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, to see the resilience that you've had and you've displayed also in your Asian Games match, like a lot of people are very much. I know it's probably, it might be a little, I don't know how you'd feel about it, but I feel like there are some people who at least feel like inspired by like what you've gone through. So for you,
Mhm.
like reflecting back on the Asian Games experience, have you had time to like reflect on everything that happened, and like if so, what are some major lessons that you took away from that?
Honestly, like I haven't had much reflection time, although I kind
Fair
of
enough,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, but parang actually yesterday lang. Kasi the way I reflect is, I study God's word, I study the Bible, and then I
Mhm.
reflect on His word, and then I pray, and then like I type it up. Like I type up everything that comes. Parang whatever is related to his word, related to my experiences, I type it up, and then that's how like the thoughts get processed. I'm a, like a more of parang I have to write things down to process them. Then yesterday I had quite a good reflection time with the Lord, and grabe as in lately kasi yun nga, I haven't had the time, 'di ba, to pause and to reflect. But then yesterday, when I had a little bit of time, I had maybe like 2 hours in the morning to reflect. Um, parang sobrang dami. I can't share everything kasi
Mm,
sobrang daming lessons learned. But
mm,
siguro to summarize, parang lately kasi I mean, after the Asian Games, 'di ba? It's been very tiring. And I've been sick.
sure. Yeah.
I've been sick, hindi pa rin gumagaling yung ubo ko kasi nga I haven't been resting.
Mm-mm.
But parang um I've been operating out of the tiredness. I'm not sure if you get what I mean. When in reality, I should be operating out of the overflow of his love. Kasi
Mm.
nga,
Okay.
honestly, what happened in Asian Games, it's an experience of his love and his grace. As in, like, grabe, he pulled me through. Kasi I was totally dependent on him throughout that entire time. As in, like, sobrang dependent talaga. So I knew that the Lord was really moving in that match. Even if people say na, oh, parang, that was me. Honestly, it was not me. Kasi grabe, if it was just me, I would be dead. I mean, not literally, but they would probably carry me out of the mats. Kasi I
Yeah.
was really in bad shape. As in, I was in such bad shape. And parang, after, I know na parang people say na, oh, you deserve to rest, you deserve to ganyan. Pero kasi, the reality of the circumstance is after winning, of course, people are gonna want to give you recognition. People are gonna want to like, yun nga, hear your story. And parang, that's why I should be operating out of this overflow of love. And parang, yesterday, I was able to like, reflect on how blessed and how privileged I've been. Like how the Lord has like showered me with his grace this entire year. Like even allowing those struggles to happen to me like the entire year and dito sa Asian Games,
Mm-mm.
parang the struggles only highlight more kasi his grace eh. Parang, alam mo yung parang, cliche siya, pero parang in darkness, that's where you see the light. Alam mo yun?
Yeah,
So
right.
parang yesterday I was able to focus more on the light.
Mm-mm.
And parang that's when I started to operate out of that overflow of love and to realize na grabe how much of a privilege I am in right now. And I should be grateful and I should be like maximizing these opportunities to yun nga emphasize him, his love, bring glory to his name and also share that love with others. So
Yeah.
yan yung andyan ako ngayon na parang I wanna operate out of that love and I wanna share that love as well with others in like opportunities like this, 'di ba? Like
Right.
having that opportunity to share your story, no matter what you're feeling physically, still appreciate the opportunity, 'di ba? And still like maximize that opportunity and think about the people that you're reaching through these opportunities. So
For
ayun.
sure. I like what you mentioned earlier during the show about um like like this is you praying and you were saying like God, you're making this happen for for me to have an earlier scheduled match and for me to be sick at this point. It's like it's so interesting though na parang okay, it's like you're praying, it's like help me Lord, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
eventually like he's like I'll do you one better, I'll make it a little more difficult, but
Yeah.
eventually to prove that I'm there for you, I'm gonna pull you through out of it. Like
Yes.
it can be pretty amazing that way too.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
point, it's the mentality talaga to just get to that point. It's
Yes.
like you can pull through because like
Yes.
you were doing your prayers and you're doing the work also, and you're also
Mhm.
praising him, diba?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really amazing what you've accomplished so far, Maggie, and like the rest of the year is still in your hands. I mean, and we're only waiting in bated breath, like and what else you have in store, what else you can accomplish, moving forward, like in your career. So, do you feel like now that there's more attention, being given to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu here in the Philippines?
Well, honestly, I don't know exactly the scope of the attention, but definitely there's more attention given to Annie and I right now.
Yeah.
But I hope that it's not just me and her being emphasized. I hope that
Mm,
like everybody that's listening to our interviews or watching our interviews also realize that hey, this sport is definitely something that we can excel in as
yeah.
Filipinos. And I hope it like encourages a lot of people, especially the youth, diba? The young ones to actually see this sport or even spark their interest in this sport and see that hey, parang if we want to get somewhere in the world of sports, then maybe jiu-jitsu is the sport for us, diba? Kasi it's not a joke to produce two gold medals and one bronze medal in the Asian Games, diba?
Mm,
I mean, that's already quite a big percentage of the medals that were produced in the Asian Games. That's half the gold medals that the Philippines produced in the Asian Games. So I hope that everyone, like whether it be the government, the private sector, who I hope will be more inspired to sponsor us. Not just me and Annie, but the sport in itself. Now I hope it sparks
right.
interest. And then apart from the private sector, everyone in the world of sports, okay, whether it be spectators or whether it be potential practitioners or even parents of kids, diba? I
Mm,
hope that it actually gets more people to be interested in the sport and then practice the sport.
right. And so now, like looking into the future of BJJ in the Philippines, where do you hope to see the sport in the country? Let's say 5 to 10 years, which is still a wide range, but so yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. What's your vision for it?
Well, to put it simply, I hope for jiu-jitsu to be one of the staple sports of the Philippines. Meaning, you know how the Philippines is known for basketball, the Philippines is
Yes.
known for volleyball, for boxing. So, like they said, 'di ba, uso yung B sports sa Philippines.
Yeah.
Basketball, boxing, and then, ano ba yung isang B? Billiards. Kasi 'di ba billiards,
Mm,
magaling din tayo doon. So, B, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, pwede rin
pwede
siyang maging
din.
B
Oo.
sport, 'di ba? So, yun na
Yeah.
nga, I just hope na maging staple sport siya na tipong maisip yung Pilipinas, maisip nila yung Jiu-Jitsu. Parang madikit siya doon. Parang malagay siya sa level na yun. And not just for outsiders or not just for like competition, but alam mo yung when you also like talk about the sport, people will actually know what it is. Hindi yung
Mm,
tipong sa ngayon kasi, nagjo-jiu-jitsu ka? Karate ba yan? Or
mm-mm,
taekwondo ba yan? Yung
yeah,
gano'n. Ngayon kasi hindi pa siya masyadong alam, like even what it is. So, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I think it starts with yung education then. I mean, like even spectators, diba, it's kind of hard to watch. Like
right.
it's like you don't know what's going on. So there's like a lot of education that needs to be done. And I think also like yung um organizations that do jiu-jitsu, like the federation, yung national team, even the clubs, we all have to work together to like promote jiu-jitsu and like come up with like an established and organized grassroots program para mas spread talaga siya all throughout the country. Kasi personally then, my hope and my dream is to see the kids now that we teach, because I also teach kids, to see
Mm-mm.
the kids now that we teach, the ones doing interviews like this after winning competitions. Alam mo yun, na dapat sila na.
Oh, I love that. And it's such a and it's a very aspirational vision to have, no, especially for a sport that you're very passionate about. And we are currently like excelling at. And well, like what's even amazing is that females like
Yeah.
Binais are excelling at it. So
Yep.
it's just it's awesome and it's so
Mhm.
inspirational also. Hopefully it's inspirational for young girls na rin to be like
Yes.
it's totally okay. It's totally okay
Mhm.
to do to grapple, to have these like contact sports or to join these contact sports. So
Mhm.
I think and I hope that it does get to that point. Like why not? We can dream. We can dream
Yes.
to have BJJ as like one of those sports that the Philippines will excel at. So
Yes.
do you have any idea like how you're gonna plan that? At least, is there anything that you're doing now to help realize that vision?
Well, right now, I'm kind of just working in the context of our club.
Mm,
Kasi
okay.
yung sa national team, I don't really have like control of that. And like right now, kasi sa club namin, that's where we're trying to execute that vision. So yung club namin is called Atos Jiu-Jitsu. We have our headquarters in Gatorade Hoop Center in Mandala Park, and we have like a heavy emphasis on what we call the Super Kids program. So we have this, yeah, yung Super Kids program kasi yung one of the partners dun sa club, si Carlo, he's really been heavily emphasizing like teaching kids jujitsu ever since 2015.
Mm-mm.
Kasi like yung Jiu-Jitsu Manila, that was like the gym that we established in 2015, and it's been really known to produce like high quality jiu-jitsu sa kids. So we may program called the Super Kids program. Actually, I think it was one of the kids that even gave it that brand. May parang Super Kids, Jiu-Jitsu Super Kids program kami. And
Mm-mm.
now, it's amazing kasi now, the one that's leading the Super Kids program, since we're away a lot for competition and camps, the one that's leading the Super Kids program is one of the first kids that enrolled with us. So
Wow.
he's already like a teen now, and he's already at a point where he actually won silver in the Youth World Championship of Jiu-Jitsu. So
Nice.
andyan na, and like nagpo-produce na siya ng results,
Yeah.
and parang we kind of see it like going the full circle already. Wait, not yet the full circle, but partial full circle kasi
Mhm.
nasa youth pa siya.
Yeah.
But then we see na for that kid is, well, he's no longer a kid. He's gonna be 18 next year. Parang he's gonna be the one parang leading the way then dun sa kids na parang and then eventually the other kids that are also teens now, sila din susunod din sa yapak niya. Alam mo yun?
Mm.
So parang we're there. We're at that point na we started teaching kids in 2015. Some of them are like um pretty much in their late teens now, leading the way, almost the adult division na. And then they're the ones serving as inspiration na rin for the younger kids. And then they're even the ones that are already leading the classes. So yeah, we're getting there.
So it's like the focus now is preparing, I guess, like the next generation, no? Because we of
Yes.
course you gotta start them young, diba? So that's the
Yes.
focus now.
Exactly. Kasi I started very old. I started after college.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
very, very late. Kaya um dapat ano sila na yung tutukan kasi sila yung talagang, alam mo yun, they started from when they were young, and then they have a long way ahead in their
mhm.
journey. And so talagang dapat sila yung matutukan. And even the younger ones pa. Kasi
I
sila yung talagang, if we want to produce more medals talaga, dapat sila yung tutukan. Kasi in the future, pag yung mga kids na yan, tumanda na, oh man, they're gonna be beasts.
Diba? And that's the
Yeah.
dream. It's all working
Yes.
towards one goal. I love that.
Exactly.
I love that. Well, Maggie, thank you so much for taking the time to join me for Heard on Thursday. Such a
You're
pleasure. And I
welcome.
know I haven't mentioned this. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh, it's such a pleasure to catch up with you as well. So, any parting words for those who might want to try Brazilian Jiu Jitsu? Where can they find
Mhm.
where can they go so that they can sign up, start
Mhm.
training? Go for it.
Yeah, so to everyone that's interested to try jiu-jitsu, I would definitely encourage you to try jiu-jitsu. This will really open up like a lot of opportunities in your life. Whatever your context is, whether you're a parent that's looking at like a nice sport for your child, or even if you're like a sporty girl who like recently graduated from college and like you still wanna like keep fit, or like you're someone who's just interested in MMA and like you're curious to try jiu-jitsu, or just anyone that wants to try the sport, I would encourage you to try the sport. And of course, I would encourage you to train with us Atos Jiu-Jitsu HQ in Gatorade Hoop Center in Mandala Park along Shaw Boulevard. You can follow us on Instagram, Atos Jiu-Jitsu HQ underscore Philippines, or even just Atos JJ Philippines. And yeah, if you're interested, just hit us up, and then this will be the start of a journey that you won't regret.
Ayun, what a nice way to end that. I love that. Well, thank you once again, Maggie, and I really hope that your vision of like BJJ does come true. And I feel like it will be so exciting to see it
Mhm,
happen over the years. So,
mhm.
with that, Monsters, that is it for Heard on Thursdays. Meggie Ochoa joined me this evening, winning gold at the Asian Games, 19th Asian Games in China. So, we're very proud of you and we're very happy for you. And we just want you to get some rest.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that is it for Heard on Thursdays. And keep it locked only here on The Monster. Bye bye.